Throughout this video, I'm going to teach you how to conquer your lust. This is a mission that every man must accomplish, especially if you're young. The sooner you start, the better off you will be. Guys, we have a real problem today. And it's not women, it's men. Modern men are the real problem of today's world. I'll repeat that one more time. Modern men are the real problem of today's world. You see, a lot of guys that are bitter, insecure, low self-esteem, they want to point the finger and blame women. They will blame, but these feminists and these bad women and these ungodly women. And to a degree, it's true. And it is necessary to point out that there are certain women that righteous men should avoid. 100%. You don't want to get involved with them, fellas. But what about modern men? What about the bad women that hurt women, that use women, that exploit women? These men that are insecure, vain, lustful, self-righteous, prideful. Okay? They're cowardly, they are backstabbers, they are jealous, they live for fame and this fake high-value lifestyle, right? These men are simps. They're wearing a false mask. But when you rip it off, you can see them for who they really are. They're worthless. They have been emotionally and mentally castrated by the system. You see, all of these feminists and ungodly women only exist today because men have fallen short. You see, the man's role in relationship, in society, is what? Lead, protect, and provide. You must do that for yourself, you must do that for your family, and you must do that for your society, for those around you. This is the role of the man. And when man doesn't fulfill his role, his traditional gender role, which comes from God, the way he made us to be, what happens? There is a falling away. And when men step down, someone's going to have to step up. And a lot of women are forced to actually step up and be leaders in their households, be leaders in society. They've got women in positions of power and it ruins their femininity. It degrades them as women. And these women become like little men. They become masculine. And it really destroys their self-esteem. It's horrible to see. And then these women don't know how to interact healthily with men. And the sexual polarity between man and woman is messed up. You got masculine men and you got feminine women. And then these people get into a relationship and no wonder it doesn't work. And then they raise their children who are also going to be damaged just like them. And then the cycle of pain and misery continues. But that is only happening. Those women exist today because of weak men. You got weak fathers that don't protect their daughters from the world. And they're not providing the emotional ingredients their daughters need. Confidence, self-esteem, giving them boundaries, disciplining them. And they're not doing a good job of leading their daughters on teaching them how they should be women, how to find a good man, how to avoid bad men, to protect their value, to not give their bodies out. Okay? Teaching them the wonders of marriage and family life. This is what's happening. See, men have become so weak, they're not protecting their women. So their women are running wild. So you want to blame someone, don't blame the feminists. Because this is what happens when men don't lead, protect, and provide. Blame the weak men. Blame modern men. Sometimes you've got to look at yourself and blame yourself. You might be watching this and it's your own fault. See, there's no shame in being weak, right? But there is shame in staying weak. And that is the difference, fellas. So when it comes to mastering your lust, conquering this very powerful emotion that a lot of men feel, this is your call of duty as a man. You've got to get this done. You know, this is why we have OnlyFans and guys, paying for those things, right? Simping off the women that don't want them. You've got the Dan Bilzerians of the world. And, these Andrew Tates, these lustful, promiscuous men. And they live this fake high-value lifestyle where they just want to make money so they can get women that didn't want them when they were ugly. So they're getting women that, well, they still are, but they're going after women that only have transactional relationships with them. Okay, these ungodly women that don't actually love them or respect them, don't want to build families with them. They're getting damaged women, okay? Like attracts like, because that's who they are. And when you guys obsess and watch these men and you study what they teach, you eventually become like them. It influences you, right? And once the influence is there, you start doing the things they do. It shapes and changes your values and your morals. Okay, bad company corrupts good morals. And this is what happens. It deceives you and you start living their lifestyle. And then you're miserable and unhappy and broken because you're chasing after promiscuous women. You're chasing after the bad women. You're not going after the good quality feminine women because you're led astray. And then you get bitter and angry and you go red pill, you go MGTOW. All women are the same. No, There's good ones and bad ones. You just keep going after the bad ones because the good ones stay far away from you. Why? Because you're lustful. And guys, if there's no demand, eventually the supply will fade away. It will cease to exist. If every man in the world stopped watching porn, if every man in the world stopped paying for OnlyFans, if every man in the world stayed away from women that don't find them attractive, if every man, stopped allowing immoral women to take advantage of them, right? If every man in the world stopped being friends with women, which doesn't exist, by the way, if men stopped doing these things, and if they stopped lusting, complimenting, or checking out women that don't want them back and just mind their business, be chaste, abstain, have self-control and discipline, the world would be a much different place. Because half of these women that are promiscuous, guys, half of these women that sleep around or seek attention online, they're doing it because they have low self-esteem and they're damaged. And they don't know any better. They don't know how to attract good men. And a lot of those women would have a wake-up call and go, oh, I shouldn't be living this lifestyle. And they would change. They'd come to God. They'd repent. They'd be modest. They'd be good, honorable, feminine women. And then, yes, the ones left over who are genuinely Jezebels, narcissists, and seriously messed up, they will be easy to spot and you would stay away from them. And then things would balance out. Men and women would genuinely be with members of the opposite sex that they're actually attracted to. People would be in relationships for the right reason. Then you got all of these morons, red pill and MGTOW, and they're going for women that don't want them. They're using game and manipulation to get low self-esteem women that they take advantage of. See, these men are unrighteous. They're not righteous. These men are deceiving you. And I want you to see this. So guys, a man who has not conquered his lust is always going to be led astray by his emotions and his desire for pleasure. And for this very reason, his judgment is going to be clouded, right? He overlooks red flags. He gets involved with bad women that cause him pain, misery, and regret. See, most guys struggle with women because that's all they think about. sex. They think about the camel toe. They don't have anything else in their mind. So this makes it very easy for women to smell the neediness and desperation. So bad women will take advantage of you, but good women are going to stay far away from you. See, when you look at women from a lustful perspective, it kills your ability to interact with them from a place of honesty and integrity. This is why I have so many young guys come to me and they're like, Christian, how do I talk to women? I'm scared. I don't know what to say. Why? Because they're lustful. I mean, they're so horny. They're thinking so much about, pleasure that they don't even know how to talk to a woman. I mean, guys, come on. That has to change. They're people too. They want to get to know you. They have likes and dislikes and interests and hobbies, right? Get to know them. Make them feel like a real person. Stand out. That's how easy it is to stand out. The bar is so low. Guys are so lustful and thirst after women so much that just by you going up and talking to her and have a genuine conversation, treating her like, the old guy who walks the dog, who you're not into, right? Obviously. When you talk to her like that, like an actual human being with a soul, guess what? Something can happen there. You can build something beautiful. Guys, wipe the lust out of your eyes. Because when you allow lust to consume you, this is what will happen. You're going to end up chasing after uninterested and unavailable women. You're going to become vain, selfish, and view women as nothing more than sex objects, which in turn will prevent you from truly bonding with a woman. This is another reason why some men struggle to commit to one woman only, right? Because they're so used to, living a pleasurable lifestyle, whether it's from hooking up or from watching pornography, and they really ruin their chances with a good woman. You will not stand up for yourself or call her out when she says or does something disrespectful. Why? Because you're so fearful that she's going to pull away intimacy. Okay? We've all heard the meme before, right? You have these weak men, they marry the wrong woman, and then they're like, honey, can we have sex today? If you even need to ask that and you're married, dude, you're in a very bad place. And guys have this mindset, like they're so fearful, they're so afraid of upsetting the woman or calling her out on her bad behavior when she disrespects him. Because they're so lustful. They think if I stand up for myself, she's going to lose interest and pull away the goods. This is how weak men have fallen. Okay, another thing that happens is some guys flat out stop leading their relationship and they actually submit to the woman, which not only destroys the sexual polarity, but erodes her respect for him, right? And it ends up emasculating him as well. Because he's so lustful, he's like, oh, I'll let her take control. I don't want to be strong and dominant and make tough decisions. Because he's lusting, right? Another thing that happens is you're going to end up lowering your standards, okay? A lot of guys, they're so desperate and they would date any girl, they just hook up as often as they can. And the problem is when you do that, not only do you destroy your ability to pair bond and know what your worth as a man, but what quality of woman are you getting? Think about that. A beautiful woman who has integrity, she's waiting for marriage, or she doesn't give her body out to any guy. She wouldn't give herself to you on a one night unless she's like completely intoxicated or you're taking advantage of her. It's like, this is the quality of woman you're getting. It's nothing to be proud of. Hooking up with random women that you would have no intention of marrying or spending your life with, and then you're laughing and telling your stupid friends about it. You think that makes you a man? Real men have standards. Real men do not give their body out to just any woman. There's nothing proud about going for a woman that have been had by other men. That's like going to the trash, and I've used this example before. I've used this example in my book. It's like going to the trash can, picking out half-eaten apple and taking a bite. Yeah, there's some nutritional value left, but it smells and it's covered in flies. That's basically what you're doing. And you are what you do. So that's what you become. You become a low-quality man. Okay, this is how unwanted pregnancies happen and cause financial ruin, broken homes, regret. Okay, this is how you degrade your morals, your values, and your standards. And then you become bitter, frustrated, and hostile to women because you just can't seem to attract the good ones. Okay? And this is the price you pay for focusing on sex and lust. So the cure to this, guys, lies in self-mastery. See, the need for sex, right? The physical sensation that comes with it is very strong. Okay? And if you don't learn to tame this, you're going to be a slave to temptation. Either you conquer it or it will conquer you. Because when you've conquered it, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat. Anytime you get a lustful feeling, okay, you can let the emotion pass. But when lust has taken over you, and then there's a moment where that feeling does come upon you, it will consume you. Okay? A man who can't say no to carnal pleasures, he has no emotional discipline. So the more you give in to this desire, the harder it will be no to say the next time it arises. But the more often you say no and you refrain, the stronger you become and you build up the discipline, right? Practice makes improvement. And it's like, observe people who live this way. Maybe it's you, maybe it's somebody you know. When a person acts and lives in lust, they're like a drug addict needing a fix. They'll do anything because their hunger is so strong. They may threaten, beg, lie, manipulate, even betray their values just to satisfy their flesh. Okay? Just observe the people who live this way. And it always tells us, there's a price to pay for men who use women for selfish gain or vice versa. Look at Will Smith. Somebody asked me a long time ago to make a video about it. And no, I'm not going to go deep into his situation. I don't care. He's a celebrity. He's a simp. But look at his relationship, for example. He was lustful, married the wrong woman, just consumed by his beauty for her when she's really nothing special to look at. Especially now, she's like bald-headed as well. But again, he fell for her. She never loved or respected him. She was lusting after younger men. In fact, she betrayed him with her son's friend. Man, that's horrible. But again, he married her and she married him. They made a choice. They're adults. They know what they're doing. You married the wrong person, that's your decision. But if Will Smith was an intelligent man, a strong man, he would have walked away. If your wife does something like that to you, biblically, morally speaking, you have every right to leave the relationship because she's committed, adultery. She's betrayed you with another man. You have every right to leave. But again, he stayed. So now that he stays, he's under her control. He's under her power. You see, acting, what are actors? Professional liars. Will Smith plays a character on stage. You think he's alpha, you think he's masculine, right? All men in black, bad boys, what you going to do? Well, he's such a bad boy, he did nothing, okay? Because he's a simp. Will simp, right? And then her, she's an ungodly woman. She's using him for self-gain. But again, God's punished her. You see, in the Bible, there's a very interesting verse that talks about this, right? Isaiah 3, verse 16 through 17. He said, the Lord says, the women of Zion are haughty. Haughty is Old English for prideful, okay? The women of Zion are haughty, walking along with outstretched necks, flirting with their eyes, strutting along with their swaying hips, with ornaments jingling on their ankles. Therefore the Lord will bring sores on the heads of the women of Zion, and the Lord will make their scalps bald. Women who are severely immoral and betray and live a very promiscuous lifestyle, a lot of them have serious health issues. This is actually one of the things that happen. So she's cheating on him, but now she's bald. So that's what you get. And his punishment is just being ridiculed by the men and women because he chose to stay in a relationship where he's taken advantage of. And this is what happens when guys are emotional. They don't have dignity. They're just weak and pathetic. You've destroyed your reputation as a man, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, just look at people who are blinded by lust, not just that other example I've just given you, but what you notice is once they have their fill of pleasure, right, it comes crashing down, and there's usually a boatload of problem. Headaches, drama, and all of these issues that they have to sort out once all the fun and games are done. So the drama, it can come in the form of getting attached to the person while the other one isn't ready to commit. And it creates a toxic power dynamic where one person holds power and leverages it because, again, they're both promiscuous, they're using each other, which is what happens. Then the other one is being exploited so the other person can meet their needs. Now, this can become even more dangerous when unwanted pregnancies happen. I've had people reach out to me, single mum, single dad, and this is what's happened because of living that lifestyle. If people did what God said and wait till marriage, have children with someone you know, and you want to be the mother or the father of your children, if you're a woman watching, and you choose the right spouse, you can cancel this problem out forever. Okay, another thing that happens is when a young man gets involved with the wrong woman, but he finds it difficult to walk away because she's so beautiful, and he stays in a relationship and they break up multiple times, get back together, and it leads to emotional exhaustion, and they're trauma bonded. And then they have all of these abusive fights. And why? Because, oh, she's just beautiful, so I'm just going to overlook the red flags. I can't even count the emails I've had in the last 2.5 years from guys who have sent in stories like that. Many of them have been on my channel, as you guys know. So when you really wipe lust out of your eyes and you break free from its stronghold over your mind, you can really begin to see women for who they are. You realize there are good ones and bad ones. You can distinguish, which will increase your confidence because you now have self-awareness. You know what to look for. And you will never allow yourself to be taken advantage of by Jezebels or led astray by immoral women like Will Smith. Guys, sex is something that God created to be enjoyed between one man and one woman, right? Husband and wife. It was never meant to be casual, as I mentioned in my previous video, or recreational or just for pleasure. It feels good, but it should be done in the context of a commitment so you can really enjoy it and reap all the benefits, right? You know, it is sacred, special. It's meant to be with someone who loves you, not just for a stranger. Promiscuous men and women lead miserable, repetitive, and vain lives. And we see it a lot with the red pill. In particular, what I'm seeing now is this Andrew Tate guy. Everybody's, sucking this guy off and worshipping him because he's gone viral. What a lot of people don't know about Andrew Tate, I mean, the articles came out a few years back in 2016. He was filmed beating 2 women. Domestic violence, right? Pretty much. And not to mention, he's been charged in Romania on human trafficking. He's openly admitted and laughed about it, that he uses cam girls, he exploits women sexually to make money out of them. And this guy's sitting there giving you guys advice on TikTok and his little videos about women and relationships when he's nothing more than a degenerate. He has no morals or integrity. He uses women. And again, anything that is not founded on righteousness will fall. And you're going to see what will happen to him in a few years, right? Comes up and he's going to come crashing down on him. That lifestyle is not the way a righteous or an honest man should live, So some of you who don't know that, you can attack me for that all you want, but that's the truth of the matter. And this is what happens. You're living a promiscuous life, you think you're a real man, but quite frankly, you have no self-control. You may be disciplined in business, but are you disciplined emotionally? What about your lust? Do you have that in control? And then you end up doing the things that he did. Does that sound genuine? Does that sound like an honest and honorable man? Beating women, trafficking women? That, to me, didn't sound like somebody I'd want in my life. And this is what happens. When you're lustful, it degrades you. It keeps you trapped in a never-ending loop of darkness and torment Because people like that constantly seek new partners and they never feel a connection. They're unable to see the good, or let alone even want to build a bond with a woman, because they're so consumed by their lust. All they care about is meeting their own selfish needs. As I mentioned just before, even if they betray good morals, lie, betray, or do terrible things like Andrew Tate did. This is the result of chasing after pleasure. It degrades you and it traps you. Okay? So oftentimes we think it is sex that we want, when in reality what we truly crave is intimacy and love. A life to be shared and cherished. You will not be able to see this when you're blinded by lust, guys. You must break free from this bondage. So as a man, it's a rite of passage to learn to master this energy. Now, it may seem daunting at first, but once you learn how to master this, you'll be able to give the best parts of yourself to your life's work, to your relationship, to society. You can contribute. It will contribute to your overall growth as well. And you can serve others selflessly, rather than degrading your integrity and falling into a state of, desire that does nothing more than give temporary pleasure at the price of shame, regret, and anguish. Remember, you can either weaken your character or strengthen it. So that's on you. So there's only really three things you need to do to conquer your lust. I'd start with practicing semen retention, abstaining, nofap as some people call it, but I like to call it semen retention. You retain your seed. Abstain from masturbation, which will increase your testosterone and your virility. It's discipline. Okay, quitting pornography and other sources of lustful material. Okay, because these things are designed to keep you in mental bondage, degrade your morals and weaken your masculinity. It will really, really damage your brain as well. Please stay away from it, guys. It's not worth it. And number 3, you've got to be chaste, guys. Do not engage in casual sex or one-night stands. Okay, you are what you do repeatedly. Living a promiscuous lifestyle will have you chasing after other like-minded women that will end up ruining your entire life. That's all you have to do. This is how you master your lust. You do not give your body out to strangers. You do not lust. You do not look at those things online that you know are bad for you. Okay, and stop wasting your seed. Stop just releasing it. Okay? Once you understand the importance of this, you will begin to see the power it has in keeping you emotionally disciplined. And, overall, it's really going to bring out your masculinity that has been misled and broken down by lust for so long. And very few men get this, guys. There's very successful men in the world. They make a lot of money. They're very powerful, but they are brought to their knees by bad women. And because they're lustful, which is sin, they are pulled towards those bad women, right? And this is why men that have their lust under control, they've mastered this area of their life, they have self-control. Guess what? This doesn't happen to them. Okay, you want to be like Andrew Tate, you want to be like Dan Bilzerian and have all of these fake women that are there just because you're paid. They're paid to be there. When if you had a heart attack or you fell and had an injury, these women would walk over your body. They're only there because they're getting a paycheck and they're growing their own influencer page. Not because they love or respect you, because they're not godly women. And this is what you guys don't understand. You're looking at things from a lustful perspective. Okay, think. Use your big head, not your little head, please. Okay, because men that have self-control are masculine, and masculine men are leaders of their own lives. Therefore, they are capable of leading women and children and their communities to a much brighter future. A man who has conquered lust can conquer all. Self-control will transform you from a boy into a man. So I'm going to close on a few Bible verses and that will be it. Flee also youthful lusts, but pursue righteousness, faith, love, peace with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. 2 Timothy verse 2 through 22. Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. Proverbs 6 verse 25. What comes out of a person is what defiles them, for it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from within and defile a person. Mark 7 verse 20 through 23. Guys, be very careful. You have one life and you have to honor God with it. Right? If you want to have a good woman, you've got to make sure you prepare for fatherhood and husbandship, that you are following the path of righteousness. Christ already died for our sins. It's up to you to accept that and live that way. The world can laugh at you all they want, but you've got to make a choice. You stand with God, or do you stand with the world? Stop being led astray by Red Pill and MGTOW and all of these deceivers like Andrew Tate, which I did touch on a bit today. I see so many young men pulled into that. And you don't understand. You're worshipping a guy. You're listening to the advice of a man who beats women. You're listening to a man who's trafficked women. Think 20 years in the future. What would you do to a guy if he did that to your daughter, or to your sister, or right now he did that to your mother? Exactly. I don't even have to say what you'd want to do to him. Stop idolizing people that have no morals. Right now, there's a lot of young people and they're deceived. So exactly what the Bible says, forever learning but never coming to the knowledge of truth. So many of you do not have God in your life. Therefore, you are blinded by lust in such a way that when somebody tries to help you, you think you're being attacked because of cognitive dissonance. Your belief system is presented with a new one and it conflicts with the way you've been living. Wipe the pride away or your life will collapse. And that's on you. So guys, that's the video for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'd definitely love to hear your thoughts down below. For those of you who would like to learn more about my work, I'll leave my book linked down below. For any of you who would like to book a coaching call, share your story or ask any questions, email is down in the description. And feel free to share this. If you have anyone in your life who's an Andrew Tate fan or somebody who's very lustful, somebody who perhaps is a close friend of yours who's struggling, send this video to him. Send him my way. And with that said, hope you'll have a wonderful day. God bless all of you and your families. And I'll see you all in the next one.